Ladies and gentlemen, we're almost there. We are just hours away from seeing Argentina in a World Cup again, and Lionel Messi once again on soccer's biggest stage. The excitement is alive, hearts are starting to beat faster, and an entire country is waiting for the world champion's debut. In today's video, just hours before Argentina versus Algeria, and what did Algeria's coach say about Messi in the next match against Argentina? But before we begin, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you are a soccer fan, tell us in the comments your prediction for how Argentina's first match in this World Cup will turn out. Just hours before Argentina versus Algeria, Messi's participation depends on one single condition. Lionel Messi, captain of the Argentine national team, has become a player ready to lead the Albiceleste in its first clash of the 2026 World Cup against Algeria on Wednesday. Lionel Messi also took part in an intense training session on Sunday as part of the Argentine national team's preparation to face Algeria in Group 10 of the 2026 World Cup. And Lionel Messi, who had played in Argentina's final warm-up friendly before the start of the World Cup against Iceland last week, has become fully ready to play matches after a period of absence. And despite Lionel Messi's availability to play the match against Algeria, Italian journalist Fabrizio Romano confirmed that La Pulga will not play the full match in order to preserve his safety. And it is a decision made by Argentina head coach Lionel Scaloni. Messi also confirmed after the victory over Iceland in statements to the Argentine channel TIC Sports that he feels physically comfortable after the rest period that accompanied his arrival at the Argentine camp. Messi had suffered pain during a match in Major League Soccer with Inter Miami against the Philadelphia Union before the local competition stopped in preparation for the World Cup. It should be remembered that Messi aims, during the 2026 World Cup competitions, to score 4 goals to surpass German Miroslav Klose and become the top scorer in the history of the World Cups. What did Algeria's coach say about Messi in the next match against Argentina? In the last few hours, a brief interview given by Algeria's coach to a local outlet in his country began to draw attention among Argentine fans, not because of a provocative phrase or a scandalous statement, but quite the opposite, because of the enormous respect with which he spoke about the Argentine national team, and above all, Lionel Messi. The Algerian coach was asked about the upcoming match against Argentina in the 2026 World Cup, a game that is already generating expectation around the world because it is Argentina's debut in the tournament, and because of the possibility of seeing Messi once again on soccer's biggest stage. And far from trying to heat up the match or send an exaggerated message of confidence, the coach chose a calm, realistic, and deeply respectful tone. "We know perfectly well the kind of match we are going to play," the coach reportedly said during the interview. "Argentina is not just another national team. They are the world champions. They have players of enormous quality. They have a very clear structure, a very defined identity, and of course, they have Messi. When you face a team like that, the first thing you must have is respect. Not fear, but a lot of respect." His words were received with interest because they reflect what many rivals feel before facing Argentina in a World Cup. It is not only about measuring yourself against a strong team. It is about facing a national team that arrives with an established generation, with players who have gone through finals, moments of extreme pressure, and decisive nights. And at the center of it all appears Messi, a figure who, even at this stage of his career, continues to provoke a mix of admiration, concern, and respect among his rivals. Algeria's coach explained that his team will try to compete with personality, but acknowledged that the challenge will be enormous. "We are not going to step onto the field thinking only about defending. We want to compete. We want to show our identity. We want Algeria to be a brave team. But being brave does not mean being naive. Against Argentina, every mistake can cost you dearly. They have players who do not need many chances to hurt you." Then, when the journalist asked him directly about Messi, the tone of the conversation changed slightly. According to local media, the coach smiled before answering and left a phrase that quickly began circulating among fans. "Sometimes it seems unfair to have to face Messi," he reportedly said, with a laugh. "You prepare the match, study the movements, analyze the spaces, think about how to close passing lanes, and then he appears and finds a solution that nobody saw. That is what makes him different." The phrase was not said with resignation, but with admiration. The coach tried to explain that Messi represents a kind of difficulty that goes beyond tactics. In his view, it is not enough to mark him closely, reduce spaces, or assign him special surveillance, because Messi's greatness lies precisely in his ability to escape any plan. There are players you can limit if you take away their speed, if you close off their preferred side, or if you force them to play far from the box. But Messi understands the game in a different way. He can walk for several minutes and suddenly find the pass that changes everything. He can seem disconnected and, in reality, he is reading something that the others still haven't seen. For a coach, that is the hardest thing to control. The coach also reportedly emphasized that respect for Messi does not mean Algeria will play without ambition. On the contrary, he assured that these kinds of matches are the ones every soccer player dreams of playing. Our players want to be on this stage. They want to face the best. And when you play against Argentina, you are facing one of the best teams in the world. That has to motivate us. You do not get the chance every day to play against a world champion national team and against a player who marked the history of soccer. In another part of the interview, the coach was asked about the psychological impact of facing a figure like Messi. His answer was clear. You have to accept reality. Messi commands respect even before touching the ball. His name changes the atmosphere of a match. It changes the defender's attention. It changes the energy of the stadium. It changes the way everyone watches the game. But our players must understand that the match is played 11 against 11. We can admire him, but we must also compete. The interview left a very particular feeling. Algeria does not arrive at the match with arrogance, but not with fear either. It arrives aware of the challenge. The coach knows that Argentina will be the favorite. He knows that Messi will be the center of all eyes, and he knows that any detail can define the result. But he also understands that a World Cup is made of unexpected moments and that his team will have to be prepared to suffer, resist, and take advantage of the opportunities that appear. If we want to get something from this match, we need total concentration, the coach reportedly closed. Not for 60 minutes, not for 80, for the entire match. Because against Argentina, and especially against Messi, 1 second of distraction can change the story. And even so, for us it will be an honor to face him, because competing against the best is also part of what makes the World Cup great. What did you think of his statements? We like that he spoke with respect about the Argentine national team, and the joking tone with which he said that it seems a little unfair to face Messi because of how great he is. That was all, friends. Thank you for your usual support. See you tomorrow with more videos about the most beautiful sport in the world.